back to Smarmalade Plays Autumn's Journey. Merchant Ventures is trafficking dragon bones. Fuck! The city of Oliver vanished from sight as we entered the northern forest. Unlike the birch forest surrounding Berry, these trees were thicker, and the terrain even more rocky, although still a far cry from mountainous. I did my best to remain reserved, but Lady Bayard's name was brought up, and the knights asked me many questions about her and me. A few were interested in my sword skills since she had personally trained me. That's still really all they perceive when they see me. We did not make our first stop until mid-afternoon. As the knights ate, talked, or went for scouting, or peeing, I approached the carriage again. Although I did not have a chance to physically check the box, maybe Dervishi would let something slip about the contents. The carriage door was open. Dervishi sat inside comfortably, talking to the prominent knight with the peppered hair, who casually stood by the vehicle. Rather terrible design flaw. One swift strike to the chest and the sternum will shatter. Which is why, even if it's aesthetically pleasing, it's not ideal in actual... Eavesdropping isn't helping either. What are the chances I would catch important information anyway? Giving up, I sidled away from the carriage. About the contents. Wait! Surprised, I turned around, only to slam my knee into the wheel. Ow! As I rubbed my leg and stood up, the knight peered around the vehicle and spotted me. Did you need something?
Whoops, sorry about that.
No, I was just going to ask how much longer break would be. No more than 10 minutes. Relay that to the others. Right, I'll do that. I gave an awkward salute and hobbled away, berating myself in that lost chance. I didn't even feel like passing on the message. Instead, I just wandered off while I tried to clear my thoughts. Eavesdropping hadn't worked. The box was always under constant surveillance, and I doubted directly asking would help. It's harder than it looks. I heard the bushes rustle. Before I could even touch my hilt, I was suddenly thrown back by a rough tackle. Eh! I crashed into one of the shrubs and gasped for air as I painfully sat back up. Kerr was kneeling before me. Ow, what was that? He brought a finger to his lips, and I instantly hushed up. I lowered my voice. How'd you find me? Why'd you have to push me? That hurt. Because you always let your sword do the thinking. And it was easy to find you. We just had to know the main road to Norvale. I guess throwing the note down didn't do anything. What note? Figures. Where's Omari? He's scouting and tailing the carriage while I left to find you. Do you know if the box contains dragon remains? I slammed my palms into the dirt, feeling rather defeated. No, I've been trying all day and still no luck. There needs to be some sort of distraction. I can't check when there's armed knights everywhere. Kerr made a fist and rotated his wrist. We can always plan an ambush. No violence. I don't think Ilmari would approve. Plus, we still need to confirm if the cargo is indeed dragon remains. And if it is... He scoffed and jabbed his chest with a thumb. We seize it. Even dragon remains contain some magic. They might fall into the wrong hands. Right. I gripped my badge worryingly. Then the mission would be considered a failure. However, this is more important right now. Are you sure? I mustered a smile to reassure him. A minor setback. You can count on me, Kerr. Now we need some sort of distraction, without resorting to brute force. We exchanged blank stares, and I realized that neither of us could prepare a proper plan. We both sighed at a loss. Ilmari could probably come up with something.
Leave it to me.
Right, leave it to us. He'll devise a tactic. His ears perked up, and he angled his chin in the direction of the carriage. They're gathering everyone. You should head back.
Thanks.
Of course. Thanks for looking for me, Kerr. Surprisingly, he leaned in and gave me a friendly headbutt. Knocked me on the floor, and the game ended. Be careful!
Right.
I will. I stood up and brushed the dirt off of my knees before assembling with the other knights. I felt bad deceiving the knights, but it was the only way to know if the coffer held dragon remains. Please just be normal cargo. I slowly moved closer to the carriage and eventually let it pass me as I pretended to guard the rear. I would need to position myself optimally. The air around me cooled, and I shivered as the temperature dropped rapidly. A mist emerged from the ground and soon enshrouded us. Many of the knights paused and the carriage slowed down. Fog at this time? But it was clear just a second ago. A loud roar followed. A knight was swiftly rammed to the side and vanished into the mist, causing the others to panic. Was that a ghost? Whoa, effective. Swords were drawn, and the knights formed a tightly knit group to defend themselves. I took this opportunity to dash to the carriage and throw open the door. I heard another thud, followed by a scream. Dervishi was huddled on the seat, and I barged in, tugging on his arm. It's not safe here. You need to get out of here now. Out of the corner of my eye, I spied the box on the floor. I yanked on Dervishi's arm again, and he reluctantly got out. As soon as he was outside, I dived inside and shut the door. Hey!
Whoops, sorry about that.
Sorry. I snatched up the box and proceeded to exit out the other side. Or tried to, until I realized the door was locked from the inside. These doors! Foiled again! Infuriated that my plans were being thwarted by wooden barriers, I pushed open the other door, nearly smacking the client in the face as I slipped out. Sorry again! He saw that I had the box, and his eyes widened in outrage. Traitor! Thief! I ducked and darted around the carriage, alarming the horses as I headed straight into the thickest part of the mist. I could hear the knights scrambling to find me as Dervishi screamed orders at them. Heart pounding, I increased the distance between us. The mist started to clear as I reached a steep slope. I momentarily looked down, then glanced back as I heard more clamors. I jumped down, my body slightly angled. I staggered awkwardly as I landed, trying not to hit a tree or trip on a root. Did I get away? And the others? Remembering that I still had the box, I knelt down and hastily unlatched it. I opened it up and inhaled sharply. It was dragon cremains, and I immediately got high off of the ashes. Inside were beautiful long objects that resembled shale with an emerald sheen. They were exactly like Kare's ears. Underneath were hard flint-like stones with beautiful grooves and ridges. Scales?
No.
This is bad. And it was possible this wasn't just a one-time delivery. If the first carriage had also carried dragon remains, this could be a full-fledged underground trading route. How long had this been going on? How did the knights not know? Wouldn't they check the contents? Unless... I shut the box, pushing it underneath a shrub for now before standing up. I would have to inform Karen Omari. Before I could take another step, the earth suddenly erupted. A large fissure ruptured at my feet, causing me to fall back. Showered in dirt, I coughed and trembled uncontrollably, unable to stand up. Not so reckless now, are you? Dervishi stood about 20 paces away. I'm trying to... whatever. His tame peddler appearance replaced by a sinister countenance. What? How did you... Casually resting on his shoulder was a mace, decorated with spikes that resembled hard tissues, namely bones and oversized teeth. Clamoring for a tree, I unsteadily got up. Okay, now I'm gonna read it properly. When they put question marks in, I'm like, who the hell is talking? You'll be surprised how much power dragon bones can grant you. Everything is permeated with magic, even long after they die. Why are you doing this? Who are you delivering these remains to? He snorted and rolled his eyes. Please, I'm not going to explain everything just because you asked. Just return the box and you'll be left unharmed. Now, where did you put it? I unsheathed my sword and widened my stance, hoping not to falter now.
Let's do this.
I'm not handing it over. Pity. I hate searching. Lifting the mace, he slammed it onto the ground. Another chasm opened up, and I screamed, my body paralyzed by every vibration. It was then that I heard a loud creak behind me. I glanced up in terror. One of the trees had become unstable, and it groaned as it started to lean heavily. Dervishi pointed the mace at me threateningly. Move, and the next attack will crush you. I unsteadily stood up, but stayed in place. My legs felt so weak I probably couldn't walk if I tried. The sound of footsteps was heard, and I prayed it was my friends. Instead, 4 of the original 7 knights joined Dervishi. They glanced at each other hesitantly, obviously baffled by the situation, but obediently aligned themselves before the merchant. She's the one who ran off with the goods. I don't know who she's working for, but since she's refusing to cooperate... Give it back and we won't hold this action against you.
No.
Wait, I'm not betraying anyone. The box had dragon remains. It's sacrilegious to move them. Their souls can't return to...
Be quiet. We know what we're delivering, and that's just a silly superstition.
Superstition? What you're doing is discourteous to dragonkind.
Aren't you a KIT? Why are you disobeying orders? Do you want to throw away your chance to become a full knight? Bitch, please.